We got some crazy news today in Major League Baseball. This is possibly one of the biggest things that has happened in a very long time in Major League Baseball. The Astros got hit with punishments. They are big, they are significant. Could they have been hit harder? Yes, we will talk about all the other possibilities and whether or not the punishment was fair or not, but the Astros did get punished. There's a lot to talk about. Major League Baseball came down hard, and this is a really big deal for the game of baseball. This is not only setting precedent for the future, but it is also letting teams know that this is not going to be tolerated anymore. Big old Robbie Manfred, he came in swinging. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like on it. That's the best way to show your support. Subscribe if you're new and you enjoy the content. If you love baseball, click that sub button, join the team. Remember to get in the comment section down below. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the suspensions, on the punishment to the Astros. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at GiraffeNeckMarc, links in the description. And if you're buying any tickets to a sports game or a concert or anything like that, make sure to head on over to SeatGeek, use the app, use the website, and remember to use the code GIRAFFE at checkout to save yourself $20 off your first purchase. So, my guy Evan Drellich, again, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Evan D, he dropped the news today about what the punishment is going to be for the Houston Astros and Major League Baseball involving that cheating scandal that happened in 2017 with the Astros using the elaborate, or I shouldn't even say elaborate, it was actually pretty basic, but they had the TV in the tunnel right next to the dugout, banging on trash cans, letting everybody know what pitch was coming while they're up at the plate. So here's what the punishments are for the Houston Astros. Major League Baseball has suspended A.J. Hinch, the manager of the Houston Astros, for 1 full season. They've also suspended Jeff Luhnow, the GM of the Houston Astros, for a full season. This next part is probably the biggest thing. This is like a significant punishment here. This hurts the Astros farm system a ton, but they lose their first and second round pick for the next 2 years. So 2020 and 2021, they do not have a first or second round pick, and they're being fined $5 million. Now, the $5 million, you might say, like, how'd they come up with that number? That's basically the maximum money that Major League Baseball can send out in a fine. That's the way it's written. They couldn't fine them anymore without having to make, like, all these new rules and all this new, like, I don't want to say legislation, but you get what I'm saying. So the $5 million, it's a slap on the wrist. The Astros made like $30-something million in that World Series run. No one cares about that $5 million. But the big significant news is about A.J. Hinch, Jeff Luhnow, and the draft picks. Hinch and Luhnow, like I said, suspended for a year, but here's where the big news comes in. They've been fired. They are gone. A.J. Hinch is no longer the manager of the Houston Astros. Even when his suspension would be up, he's gone. He's out of there. Jeff Luhnow is no longer the GM of the Astros. Those guys are gonzo. See you later. Jim Crane, the owner for the Astros, had a press conference today after the news broke, and that was pretty much what he led it with, was that A.J. Hinch and Jeff Luhnow are no longer a part of the organization. They are gone. I personally think that it's probably the right move to fire them. A.J. Hinch said that he knew what was going on. He wasn't a part of it, which I can believe. I truly believe that A.J. Hinch was not a part of it. He wasn't the guy who created this entire system, but the problem was that he knew what was going on, and he really didn't do much to stop it. Apparently, he told the players and the guys who were involved in it multiple times that he didn't like what was going on, that it needed to stop, but of course, he let it go on still. Apparently, he broke the TV screen a couple times, but really, what's that going to do? It's the Astros. They're a multi-million dollar, honestly, multi-billion dollar organization. Get another $200 TV. It doesn't need to be 4K, LED, supersonic, Panasonic. It doesn't need to be the top of the line. Breaking TVs isn't going to do that. The way you would have stopped it is if you didn't let it happen. You could have been the guy who stopped it, and ultimately not stopping it, you ended up getting punished, lost his job, suspended for at least a year. I think it's going to be really hard for A.J. Hinch to get a job back in Major League Baseball, at least as a manager. This is something that's unfortunately going to cloud his entire career, the rest of his life. He's always going to be surrounded by the cheating allegations, and even though he wasn't directly involved in creating this entire elaborate ruse, he knew what was going on, and he ultimately did nothing to stop it, and that was the biggest problem with what they found with A.J. Hinch, was that he knew stuff was going on, but didn't do anything to put an end to it. Just kind of let it happen. That's just not okay. In terms of Jeff Luhnow, I think he'll actually end up getting another job as soon as his suspension's over. Jeff Luhnow has shown that he is a great GM, and honestly, I believe him when he says he didn't know stuff was happening. Now, maybe I should change what I mean by I believe him. I believe that he had no involvement. I don't believe that he didn't have a suspicion that something fishy was going on, because it was said throughout the organization that this wasn't just like a kind of minor thing. There was a lot of people that were involved, and I feel like Jeff Luhnow probably had a suspicion, but did the classic thing that's so dangerous to do, which was just kind of like, if I don't acknowledge it, maybe it didn't happen, or maybe I won't be able to be traced back to it. GM is almost the manager of the manager, right? He's basically overseeing the entire organization. He's almost the most powerful guy next to the owner of the team. The fact that this stuff happened under his watch is a big problem, and that's why he ultimately ends up being fired. Someone needs to to be held accountable, which I know a lot of you are going to say the players, but don't worry, I'll address that in a bit. But Jeff Lunau, who's basically, like I said, the manager of the manager and the players, he's also going to fall on the sword. He got fired. But I'm pretty sure he'll get a job somewhere in baseball operations very soon afterwards, because let me tell you, he's a fantastic GM. What he did for that Houston Astros organization, rebuilt it from the ground up, did a fantastic job, found great talent, did a great job with drafting, great job with free agency, trades, all that. That has nothing to do with the cheating. He has great talent evaluation skills, or at least knows the guys who have the great talent evaluation skills, is able to make good trades, able to make good contracts. He's going to get a job no problem. AJ Hinch, on the other hand, I don't know what I necessarily think, but this maybe is the last time he's really involved in Major League Baseball. He didn't get a lifetime ban, but I could see this almost being like a lifetime sentence for him, that his days in Major League Baseball might be numbered, and I sure as hell don't see him being a manager anytime soon. So those are the punishments and the suspensions for the personnel, the front office. Then you have the draft picks, which is huge. That's 4 top picks in the next 2 years that the Astros no longer have. Yes, they still have a 3rd round pick, but you're losing your 1st and 2nd round pick for the next 2 seasons. That is massive. Those are usually the guys who end up being your top prospects in the system, and while the Astros don't necessarily need that many top prospects right now, those are guys that they could use in trades to get other pieces in, especially if they're competing right now and need impact guys right now. Losing those 2 picks, while it might not seem at the absolute surface level like a big deal, when you think about it deeper and when you think about it long-term into the future, this has a massive impact on that farm system. Take a look at your favorite team and look at their guys from the last 2 draft classes from the 1st and 2nd round. Most teams are going to have those guys probably inside their top 20 prospects, if not their top 10, some of them being top 5. For the Orioles, that would be like losing Adley Rutschman. Or even, let's go back like 5-10 years, Bryce Harper was a 1st round pick, Steven Strasburg was a 1st round pick, Mike Trout was a 1st round pick. Mike Trout was picked at like 25. That's not an unrealistic spot for the Astros to pick in the next couple years. They could be losing out on the next Mike Trout because they lost these picks. That's probably the biggest punishment right now. And along with losing their manager and GM, that's a big deal too. I think AJ Hinch is a fantastic manager, despite the cheating stuff. Not great look, but I think he's actually a pretty good manager. And Jeff Lunau has obviously shown that he's a great GM. Just again, they got caught up in the wrong stuff. So is this punishment harsh enough? Well, through the report, we found out that the Astros were doing this during the World Series, throughout the playoffs. That's a problem because originally I think we thought that the Astros were only doing it during the regular season, and of course that's not the case. The other big issue, of course, is that they won the World Series in the year that they did this elaborate cheating scandal. And yeah, people wanted the World Series gone. That's just not going to happen, guys. What would that even do? Everybody knows who watched baseball and who's going to know baseball from the history is going to be like, oh, the Astros won in 2017. To me, the punishment is now that every single time you bring up the 2017 World Series, the Astros name is going to be dragged through the mud. It's always going to be associated with cheating. Taking it away would do nothing. What are Dodgers fans going to celebrate? That they now are not the losers of the World Series? They technically wouldn't even be the champions. I think it would just be like a vacated year, like the strike year. Dodgers fans, would you even care if they got it taken away at this point? Like, you lost it. We're almost 3 years away from it now. Who cares about the World Series thing? Vacating it does nothing. This isn't the NCAA where they think they're power hungry and they need to make statements. MLB made a statement by punishing the Astros. Taking away the World Series does absolutely nothing. You feel for the Dodgers fans and you feel for the Yankees fans because of course they had an unfair advantage going against them, but taking it away from the Astros just does nothing. It doesn't serve any purpose but to satisfy the angry 10 and 11-year-olds or the angry idiots on Twitter who are like, take away the World Series, it's not fair. Cry me a river. Get over it. It was 2017. You're allowed to be upset that the Astros cheated and knocked your team out, but you really care about taking away the World Series? Like, relax. And then the other thing that's getting me like super wound up is about suspending players. Now, without a doubt, players were a big part of this elaborate scheme. They were 100% a big reason as to why this thing was going on. Players wanted an advantage at the plate. They figured out a way that they could do it, and they used it to their advantage. That's cheating. The reason why you can't suspend a player is because it's going to be almost impossible to prove who exactly wanted to voluntarily be a part of this cheating scandal and who really didn't want any part of it. Think about it. If you're stepping up to the plate, let's say you're George Springer, right? George Springer's like, I don't want to do the cheating thing. I'm just going to step up to the plate, do my thing. But you got the guys in the dugout looking at the signs, banging on trash cans still. He's like, please stop doing it. He has no control over what's happening. He has no control over the guys giving him that information, even if they find it out, unless you're 100% sure with 1,000% certainty that you're going to be able to show exactly what players were directly involved in cheating. You cannot suspend the players. And another reason why you can't suspend the players either is because, let's say you have a guy like Marwin Gonzalez, who's now on the Minnesota Twins. You're going to suspend Marwin Gonzalez, who's on the Minnesota Twins, because of something he did with the Astros. It's not like he's being suspended that next year. It's 2020 now. You'd be punishing the Minnesota Twins for signing Marwin Gonzalez before these allegations came out because of something he did with another team. I have no problem suspending players if it's the right scenario, but for this purpose, with the Houston Astros and everything else that's going on, it just didn't makes sense. I know a lot of people are talking about suspending Carlos Beltran as well, and here come the biased Mets fan comments, but you can't suspend Carlos Beltran. One, did it as a player, no other players got suspended. Two, he's now the manager of the New York Mets, so again, you would be punishing the Mets by taking away their manager over something he did as a player with the Houston Astros 3 years ago. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know where people are coming up with this idea. Players should be held accountable, yes. I think if we know who these guys are that were cheating, the name should be out there, you should be talking about it. But suspending them, especially when they're on other teams or a part of different organizations or moved on with their life, doesn't make any sense to me. Again, it's to get those angry little kids on Twitter and those angry idiots saying, man, suspend the players. Again, cry me a river. Major League Baseball came down hard on the Astros, and if you think otherwise, I'm sorry, you're just wrong. You're allowed to have that opinion, and I think you're entitled to it. But to say that baseball didn't do enough to the Astros right now, I think is just absolutely asinine. This is going to make a difference for them in 2020. This is going to make a difference for them in 2021, 2022. You're going to see this carry over for years. Not a good look on the organization. It's not a good look on the players, the owner, everything. Losing those draft picks, losing a manager, losing the GM. This is a big deal, and if you think it's not, don't really know that much about baseball at the end of the day. And I don't want to make this an attack video on you guys, but you need to know that this is a big deal what happened. This is huge for the history of baseball. And if you made it this far in the video, it might be getting even crazier because apparently Alex Cora is next. Dude might be a big time cheater. Overall, the moral of the story is don't cheat. What Major League Baseball did to the Astros hopefully is going to stop it. Hopefully they're going to be more strict as the years go on. At the end of the day, the cheating in baseball needs to stop. There needs to be much more stricter rules, much more stricter punishments. And by Major League Baseball doing this to the Astros and what they're going to be doing to the Red Sox in probably the next couple months, that should hopefully put an end to this, because it truly is not a good look on the game, and it's not something that you want being in the news constantly, which it feels like it has been for the last couple months with baseball. Love the sport. Please clean it up, boys. Clean it up. Those are my thoughts and opinions on the Astros cheating punishment scandal. I would love to know what you guys think about it down in the comment section below. Did they come down too harsh? Was it too easy? Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Remember to leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it, as well as subscribe to the channel if you're new and you enjoy the content. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at GiraffeNeckMarc. Links in the description. And I'm going to wrap up today's video there. You guys know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video, as well as this is my most recent upload, so click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you all tomorrow for another video. Bye.